at everybody. Okay.
How about me, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kasour. I knew I was missing somebody.
I'm covering for attorney, oh golly, GC, Kendra Ortega.
Oh, thank you. All right. All right. Ms. Coletti, you're muted.
Honor, I am the LGAL for the minor children. I brought this motion as an ex parte to suspend mother's parenting time as outlined in my motion. I did file an affidavit, Your Honor. We have Mercedes Hatton in here who was present, and Aaron Peters, who has previously been threatened by Ms. Thompson. I would ask, Your Honor, that we continue the suspension of parenting time until we can have a full review, either at the review hearing or set this for an evidentiary hearing. I believe that the children, even though Ms. Thompson alleges she's making progress, that one report from I think it was FET is not, I don't believe it's sufficient today, because I don't believe the children are ready yet to see mother. They've been through a lot.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Newhouse.
Thank you. Well, I'm sure the court has read my response to the motion. Sorry, I'm losing my voice this morning.
I'm sorry.
But my family's probably glad. But anyway, my client is participating in the FET program, and she's had negative drops for some time. It's our opinion that the children are placed in a non-supportive environment, non-supportive towards reunification. In fact, just this morning, I pulled out the relative placement home study. And at the time that was done in September, the grandmother where the children are placed stated that she does not have a good relationship with the children's mother. She feels the mother is a horrible person. At that time, too, RM, the youngest child, reported in that report that he had a, quote, amazing, end of quote, relationship with his mother. And so what's happened between then and now? I suspect that that there's some divided loyalty by the children regarding their efforts and wanting to see the mother. Also, my other question is, where's the therapy for the children? Are they in therapy? Have we had a therapist weigh in on this? Because I didn't see anything like that in the motion. My client indicates that the 4 alleged missed, there were actually 2 that were missed due to her work schedule. And one of those was changed by the agency at the last minute. My client couldn't attend it. So we don't have a pattern of my client not attending a lot of visits, and there have been a couple due to work. But Your Honor, this is such a brutal decision for my client. This is the holidays. I mean, we have Christmas coming up. And I believe that to have no visits really furthers the estrangement between the children, most specifically RM, and mother, and works against reunification. I do believe there could be some safety plan put in place, and our position is reasonable efforts are not being made if my client is not allowed to see her children, most specifically RM. Thank you.
Guys, today we are going to watch the court question whether a mother's anger and threats make her unsafe for parenting time.
Thank you. Mr. Kasour.
Thank you, Your Honor. Although in speaking with Attorney Ortega, we take no position on this, but I think that Ms. Newhouse has a pretty good argument. There should be a safety plan in place that could alleviate some of the issues that are going on here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Ms. Johnson.
My client takes no position as it relates to the children that are not his children in this case, and I don't believe there's any parenting time going on with the 2 older children who are his children already. That's all I would have to say.
Right,
so can I say one thing? I did have parenting time.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You have your attorney present. I don't know what the attorney's schedules are for the next the rest of the morning or the next little bit. I do have time to take a little bit of testimony right now if that works for everybody's schedule.
I have another PPH at 10.
Well, I think just a brief testimony will probably assist the court in making this decision. So,
All right.
Your Honor,
yes.
I'm sorry for the late sending out of the reports from FET, but I just got the one yesterday, the letter from Quinn Smith, my client's therapist, which I did forward around today to as proof. I didn't bring the person in as a witness, but to use that as proof that she is working with the FET program.
Okay. Did everyone receive a copy of that?
I received a copy and reviewed it this morning.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Any objection to the court considering that report?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your
All
Honor.
right. Okay. Ms. Coletti, would you like to call a witness?
Thank you, and I would start with Mercedes Tattenden.
Okay. Ms. Tattenden, would you raise your right hand, please? State your name for the record and spell it.
My name is Mercedes Tattinen, MERCEDEZ
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Coletti.
Thank you. Ms. Tattenden, first starting with, did you have a chance to review the FET report from Quinn?
Yes, I reviewed it this morning.
Okay. And in that report, Ms. Thompson is making allegations that there's a conflict because you had a relationship with her in high school. Is that correct?
Yes, that is what Miss Marsh is saying.
Okay. And is that true?
No, that is not true. did not know Danny Marsh before the case was assigned to Catholic Charities.
Okay. And the only reason she knows you went to the same high school is because you told her you both attended it?
Yeah, we were having an intake meeting where we were talking about her history and her children's history, and she reported that her children had gone to Cedar Springs High School. And in just making conversation, I also reported that I did go to Cedar Springs when I was growing up.
There was a more than 4-year age difference, correct? Or grade difference. So you were never in school at the same time as she was?
Never in the same building. No, Miss Marsh and I are 7 years apart in age.
Okay. So do you have any personal bias against her?
No, I do not.
Okay. And you're advocating what you believe is in the best interest of the children?
Yes, I am.
And do you question her credibility and honesty if she's making that type of allegation when it's obviously not true?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
She only started making that allegation until after her visits got suspended.
Okay. You asked for a suspension of the parenting time based on the threats made by Ms. Marsh?
Yes, she has made multiple threatening statements towards the worker that's assigned to her case, as well as me and towards the caregiver.
Okay, so that's threats to Ms. Peters, you, and paternal grandmother.
Yes.
Has she indicated any you observed any ability of her to control her anger, her outbursts?
She is able to remain calm at some points, but it is very sporadic when she does become dysregulated and aggressive in her verbal speech. I've never seen her become physically violent, but she has been very verbally aggressive towards the agency and the caregiver.
Okay, and did she make threats to the caregiver?
Yes, she did.
And what were those threats?
She threatened that she was going to kill the caregiver in a conversation with Miss Peters. She also threatened that she was going to go to the caregiver's home, which I safety planned with the caregiver after receiving that threat.
Okay. With regard to the children, the older children, none of the older children were having any visits with her mother, correct?
Correct. The only one that was having visits was RM. because
Okay.
the other children reported that they did not want to have any contact with their mother.
And RM was impacted when Ms. Marsh failed to appear for her parenting time?
Yes.
How did it impact him?
It was reported by the caregiver and with conversations that Ms. Peters had with RM by himself, that he was very upset and disappointed that mom didn't come to visits, and it wasn't fair to him that she wasn't coming. The caregiver also reported negative behaviors after visits didn't happen. He was not following rules, being mean to his older sisters and things like that. Ms. Peters has more details on what those were because those were direct conversations with her.
How did RM find out though that mother had made the threat to come to grandmother's house?
So I was the one that was bringing RM home after when that threat was made. Miss Marsh had texted me, and when I got home after dropping RM off at the caregiver's house, I saw the threat, and so I immediately called the caregiver to safety plan with her. And when I talked to her on the phone, the kids were in the car.
Okay. Do you believe that the paternal grandmother is not in favor of reunification or providing a non-biased home for these children?
I do believe that they do have a very strained relationship, which was witnessed during an FTM meeting that all of us were on as attorneys in the agency, where they were not able to have a civil conversation with us together. However, I do not believe that the caregiver is actively trying to make the kids not want to see their mother.
Okay. With the allegation that Ms. Marsh only missed 2 visits and one was caused because the agency changed the time, can you tell us if she missed visits because she failed to appear or because there was a change?
So Ms. Peters has more information on this as she was prepared to speak today as well, but I believe she canceled 2 visits. One visit was canceled because Miss Marsh believed that it was at 6 o'clock, but that time was never confirmed. So that visit was canceled. And then the one that I was planning on supervising on 10:30 when the threat was made, she was informed that she could have a visit at 5:30 at the agency or 5:15 at the library that was right by her work. And Miss Marsh confirmed that she wanted to do the library. But it was never fully confirmed that it was at the library at 5:15. Therefore, I left with RM at 5:30, as our policy states if a parent is more than 15 minutes late, the visit is canceled. So I left with RM. However, due to the miscommunication, Ms. Peters did make up the visit the next week to allow for them to have a visit.
Has it remained in RM's best interest to not have parenting time with his mother?
Following the suspension of visits, the caregiver and RM have reported that his behaviors have been a lot better. The other children in the home have also reported that his behaviors have been better without having the stress of visits.
Okay. Are these children in counseling?
Witness testimony drops a bomb, alleged death threats, caregiver fear, and a child acting out after missed visits.
The 2 older sisters are in counseling, and we are still trying to get RM into counseling because he did an intake with Montcalm Care Network and he wasn't eligible for services. So we're working on trying to find him a private therapist in Montcalm County.
All right. And does it remain in the children's best interest to continue the suspension of parenting time?
I would agree with that recommendation.
Thank you. I have no other questions for Ms. Tattenden, but I would call Ms. Peters after the other attorneys have had a chance to cross-examine.
All right. Ms. Newhouse.
Thank you. When was that referral for therapy made? Just recently?
For which child?
For
Sorry.
RM?
RM, he I don't know because Miss Peters was the one that put the referral in, but all 3 of the kids were referred to Montcalm Care Network at the same time. And the 2 older girls were eligible, but RM was not. So we are working on trying to find him a therapist in Montcalm County.
Okay, have you ever observed any of the visits between Ms. Marsh and RM?
I have not, because the one that I was supposed to supervise was one that got canceled.
Have you heard that the visits do go well between her and RM?
I have not heard anything negative about the actual visits themselves.
Okay. And out of all the visits, do you know how many Ms. Marsh has attended versus sounds like maybe 2 that she didn't?
I do not have that number.
Well, is it weekly?
The visits are supposed to be scheduled weekly, yes.
Okay, so it sounds like she's attended a whole bunch versus the couple that she didn't and the one that was changed by the agency.
I cannot speak to that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I would revert that question to Ms. Peters.
Okay, and how long have you been involved in the neglect system and reunification of children to their families?
4 years.
Okay, and have you had the experience in other cases where children act out for one reason or another before or after visits with a parent?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that that could be from a variety of reasons?
Yes, there can be a multitude of reasons why kids have behaviors.
Okay, anxiety about seeing their parent before a visit could result in acting out, right?
Yes.
And then the anxiety after a visit, especially a missed visit, which I don't think anybody's arguing wouldn't be a negative, but there could be many reasons, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's why we have kids in therapy. So a therapist can kind of sort that out, what the feelings are that are going on. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Did you ever read the relative placement home study?
I did not personally read it, no.
Okay. And do you have information, or is this better for Ms. Peters regarding my client's drops?
That would be Ms. Peters.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Kosorek.
No questions of this witness. Thank you.
Ms. Johnson?
Just a clarifying point, in Your Honor, would you like us to refer to initials of the children?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My one question is, you refer to the 2 older girls. You're not referring to the 2 oldest children though, correct? You're actually referring to the 3rd and 4th child, is that right?
Yes, I am. The 2 older girls are no longer part of this case. So I'm not referring to them. They are not on our caseload at Catholic Charities anymore.
Thank you. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Coletti, any follow-up?
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Tandon, just what's more concerning, the threats in Ms. Marsh's behaviors or the 4 missed visits?
I feel like her behaviors are more concerning. She has made multiple threats towards our agency and the caregiver, and that is something that drastically needs to be addressed.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions of Ms. Tandon.
All right. Ms. Newhouse, any follow-up?
Yes. So you said you read the letter from Quinn Smith at the family engagement team
Yes,
therapist?
the one you sent this morning, yes.
Okay, and she specifically says that Ms. Marsh is working on that very issue about acting out, lashing out, exploding. You're familiar with that letter?
Yeah, she reported that they have had 1 session since creating their treatment goals in the service plan. And she stated that those were some goals that they were working on. However, the agency hasn't received that service plan yet.
Okay, and she specifically says in her letter that Ms. Marsh, they've noticed that she has self-awareness and accountability that's increased regarding these statements that she's allegedly made.
Yes, from that one session.
Yeah, okay, thank you, nothing further.
Mr. Kosarik.
Your Honor, I would have one question. However, not knowing the in detail depth of this case, I think I better not ask it because it may be, I don't know the answer to it. So I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Always dangerous. All right,
Yes.
thank you. Let's see. Ms. Johnson. Any questions? Any
No,
follow-up
thank you.
questions? Okay. All right, Ms. Coletti.
Thank you. I would ask to call Aaron Peters.
Right, Ms. Peters. Would you unmute, please, and raise your right hand? Would you state your name for the record and spell it?
Erin Peters, ERINPETERS.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Peters, you're employed at CCWM and you are the current foster care caseworker for the Marsh Thompson Parks children.
That is correct.
And do you have contact then with Danielle Marsh Thompson?
I do.
And in that capacity, have you been threatened?
I have.
And what has Ms. Marsh threatened you with?
During a phone call on 10/02, Miss Marsh made a death threat, which I presumed was towards me. Since speaking with her the past few days, she has now claimed that that threat was not made towards me, and it was in fact made towards the caregiver. But Miss Marsh constantly texts, just using harsh language, whether it's threatening or not.
Okay. And are you the supervisor for when she has parent time with RM?
I used to be. Following the visit on 10/2, there was a safety plan put in place due to the threat. So now I'm no longer to have face-to-face contact with Miss Marsh alone. So visits have been supervised by a visitation specialist through our agency.
Okay. When you heard about the threat made to made by Ms. Marsh to Ms. Tantenden that she heard, was that similar to the other threats you've received?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And did you have a chance to see Ms. The Quinns from Vet's report today?
I did look at it this morning. Yes.
And have you still continued to meet with Ms. Marsh?
Not in person. I still have communication with Miss Marsh over text. And I see her in person to drug screen her with another individual present.
Has her behaviors or escalations or anger improved?
I would say perhaps a little. However, she still does lash out if something is upsetting towards her, and is constantly speaking negatively about the caregiver in sporadic spurts. So while it may have improved a little bit, I would not say that it has improved a drastic amount.
And with regard to RM, does he feel, does she lash out in front of him during the supervised parenting time?
I have not seen her lash out towards him.
Does she lash out to the caregiver in front of the child?
There is, to my knowledge, I've not seen that in person. I know their contact is limited during pass-offs at parenting time visits.
Okay. Do you believe it remains in RM's best interest to continue the suspension of parenting time?
RM has explained to me that post the suspension of visits, he felt that his mom deserves it, and that it was not fair to him for missing multiple visits. So I would agree with that statement.
Okay. So at this point, we're working on getting him into counseling. And the main thing is if he's ready for parenting time, correct? Not whether Ms. Marsh is, correct?
That is correct.
And at this time, he's not ready to resume parenting time, correct?
I guess I'm unsure. He previously, at a home visit on November 17th, he stated that visits were just something that he did. He did not state whether or not he was ready.
All right. Thank you. No other questions.
Ms. Newhouse.
Thank you. Have you ever discussed changing the venue for visits?
We did change the venue to the Rockford Library on the visit on 10:30 due to the library being 2 minutes from Miss Marsh's workplace. However, that visit was still canceled due to her being 15 minutes late. And due to the threat, the visits are required to now be at the agency due to her threatening language towards our staff.
Okay, but you're still willing to have the visits at the agency?
Testimony deepens as dates, threats, and missed visits are unraveled one by one, correcting the narrative from 4 missed visits to 2.
At the agency, yes, if they are supervised.
Okay, and have you sat in on visits between RM and his mother?
I have, yes.
And they go well?
I would say so, yes.
And she doesn't make any threatening behavior to him or anything, right?
Not directly to RM, no.
Okay, and there was one of those visits where there was a miscommunication between agency and Ms. Marsh and it was rescheduled, is that right?
That is correct. On the visit on 10:30 at the Rockford Library, it was stated that the visit would either be 5:30 at the agency or 5:15 at the library, since it is so much closer to her workplace. While Ms. Marsh did confirm the library, she did not specifically confirm the 5:15 timeframe, which after reading back through our messages, I did realize that, and I offered a makeup visit on 11/5.
Okay, so she didn't really miss 4 visits, right? We're down to 3. How many did she really miss? 2?
On September 25th, she called me at 5:12 p.m. to cancel the visit due to working late. On 10:02, I had canceled the visit due to her being over 15 minutes late. This was the visit where she believed the visit was at 6 p.m., but that was never confirmed with the agency. On 10:09, Riker refused to visit, and I had a private conversation with him over the phone to confirm that those were his wishes. And then on 10:30, the visit was canceled, and that was the miscommunication about the timing, and that was the visit that was made up.
Okay, so not that many. How many has she attended?
I do not have the specific number off the top of my head.
But a substantial amount.
Since the beginning of the reporting period, visits were weekly, and those listed were the only ones that she missed until the visits got suspended.
Okay, and she's had clean drops for some time, correct?
She has not. I have her drug screens listed. Since entered care, I have screened her on August 27th, which was positive for both men. On September 16th, it was positive for men. On September 18th, it was positive for men. On October 14th, it was positive for men. On October 16th, it was negative for all substances. On October 24th, it was positive for and THC. On November 5th, it was positive for THC and I apologize, it's buprenorphine. I don't know how to correctly say that, but that is due to her Suboxone medication. On 11/06, so November 6th, it was also positive for THC and for her Suboxone medication. On 11/14th, it was positive for THC as well as her Suboxone medication. And then on November 18th, it was positive for THC and her Suboxone medication.
Who does those drops? Is that through the FET program or you?
It's through me.
Okay. And tell us about getting RM into therapy. When was the referral made?
I don't have the exact date of the referral off the top of my head. I believe it was a few weeks ago. I was doing some research on therapies and I reached out to a few therapist options. I'm still waiting on a response to that, but I will continue to follow up with.
Okay, and you were able to review the Quinn Smith letter?
Yes, I
today?
am.
Okay, and so you're aware that they're working with Ms. Marsh regarding her verbal escalation in matters?
Yes, that is correct. It is to my knowledge that she has only attended one visit since they created their goals.
Okay. You also review the relative placement home study?
I have not reviewed that home study.
Okay. And tell us
I just, I'm going to interject. I know we've got limited time and we're really focused just on parenting time. We're not doing a full review. So.
Okay. Tell me about what safety things could be put in place so that specifically RM could visit with his mother and this could be safe for him.
I would say that visits would have to resume at the agency. They would have to be supervised. And I believe that the visits would have to be under the child's discretion. I would also like to see more progress in Ms. Marsh's treatment plan, which could include providing release of information for her services, completing an anger management class. I did refer her to one which she did not attend to. Proving proof of employment and her work schedule. I also believe that a strict confirmation schedule for visits would have to be put in place. And just that she continues to engage in her counseling services.
In your experience, would you agree with me that an estrangement where the child and parent are not seeing each other could be negative for reunification if it goes on too long?
If it goes on too long, it could be. I could see that.
So how quickly can you put, your recommendations in place and give my client some sort of idea when she could begin visiting again?
I guess I'm not exactly sure on a specific time frame. However, I don't believe that one necessarily clean drop of substances is enough time to prove that she's still making effective progress. I think a full review hearing would be beneficial.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Kozorek,
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Johnson,
No questions.
Ms. Coletti, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
Any additional witnesses on the parenting time issue?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Newhouse, any witnesses on the parenting time issue?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Kozorek,
No, thank you.
Ms. Johnson.
No, thank you.
All right, statements, Ms. Coletti.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm not asking for Ms. Marsh's parenting time to be suspended forever. I just think that she needs to start engaging in a treatment plan. One visit with Quinn is not sufficient to demonstrate. Anybody can maintain their anger for an hour. I think that she needs to show consistent growth and attend that anger management class that Ms. Peters just referenced that she did not attend, comply with the Parent Agency treatment plan. And I think that we have to be child-centered and allow visitation when when RM is ready to go for parenting time, not when Ms. Marsh is ready to have parenting time. So I'd respectfully request that we continue the suspension of parenting time until we have compliance with clean screens, a release of information signed, attendant anger management, proof of employment, proof that she's engaging in counseling, and leaving it at the agency's discretion whether parenting time occurs. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Newhouse.
Thank you. Well, I stand by my statements earlier, and I continue to question why this young man's not in therapy if things are so horrible for him and in the home. And I'm not sure what the behaviors are, but behaviors can happen based on just pure anxiety of not being able to see a parent or in good ways. There's good stress that can occur after parenting times and children release. But my client's attendance at visits has been very good. I know that there's a couple that she's missed. And but based on the big picture, she's attended so many, and there are safety plans that could be put in place, and she'd still be able to see. And I am kind of focusing more on RM because my client always wants to defer to what her children want because she very much cares about them. And so I'm not sure what he wants is necessarily what's supported in his placement. And that's a big concern for me, especially with the placement plan home study that we all got a copy of. So I would ask that visitation continue in a supervised manner. There's safety plans that could be put in place. And maybe we work on getting him into therapy ASAP. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kozorek.
Thank you, Your Honor. Not having any contact with my client, I would take no position.
Ms. Johnson?
Thank you. I would just like to note for the record that at the order of adjudication on that was entered 10/14 of 2025, the case was dismissed as to Mr. Parks' children, SPT and SP. That order stated that my representation was continued, and that Mr. Parks was referred for ancillary services, which I'm assisting him with. I would just like clarification if I'm discharged from this case as the petition as to my client's been dismissed.
You are correct. The petition has been was dismissed as to your client. I guess I want to confirm that you can still provide those ancillary services even if I discharge you from this case. Do you know if
It's been approved by the court administration?
Okay, that's the reason that your representation was continued in the order of adjudication. I didn't want a gap there or a problem, but I will discharge you today.
Thank you.
All right. The court has listened very carefully to the arguments of counsel, as well as the testimony that's been given today. In order for this court to suspend parenting time when the court has to find that parenting time, even if supervised, may be harmful to the child or the children. What I heard a lot of testimony about and a lot of evidence about today is the relationship between the mother and the agency, the workers, the caregiver, all of these other people. But I did hear that when she has had parenting time with this child, that it's gone well. And frankly, it's a very high standard to meet to suspend parenting time. And so I will vacate the ex parte order and indicate that supervised parenting time is to resume with a safety plan for all involved. And Ms. Thompson, I think you've stepped away from the camera, but I need you to listen to me. I want to make sure you're listening. There we go. Okay. You need to understand that if this continues to happen, it may rise to the level for suspension of parenting time. So you need to take this very, very seriously and really work on controlling yourself and especially around your child. Because that was traumatizing, just even to hear about it and to know about it.
The judge surprises everyone by restoring parenting time, but only with strict supervision and a warning no one could miss. That final caution echoes through the case. One more threat, one more lapse. And this courtroom won't hesitate to end contact completely. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.